team? It's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with First Time You Realize America Really Messed You Up, Part 6. Before we dive in, y'all know I need y'all to dive into that subscribe button, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. If you have a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Oh my God!
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
I got one. I moved to Italy about a month ago, and my roommate is from Spain, and we were talking about things to do outside since the weather was getting nicer, like rent bikes, take walks, and she said we should have a shooting. And I said, a what? She said, a shooting. Like, let's go have a shooting. I was like,
huh?
And she was like, yeah, like, let's go get dressed up and take some cute pictures by, like, the canals or something.
A photo shoot.
Pictures.
I swear to God, I was like, a shooting? What do you mean? I wouldn't have just 100% thought, like, let's go shoot. But in my head, I'd have been like, does she mean, like, shoot? Or is she talking about something else? Like, she's saying it so nonchalantly. Like, what did she mean, let's go have a shooting? But then, okay, let's take some pictures. I'll be like, oh, okay, where I'm from, we call it a photo shoot. Okay, just mix up a barrier right there. All right, talk to me.
In the U.S., I could not let my 11-year-old son go outside and play by himself. Someone would call the cops or something would legitimately happen to him, and so there was no way. And when I moved to Germany, my husband, who's a German national, suggested that he go outside and play by himself because we would not have to worry.
I'm not living.
Yeah, times have really changed. As a kid, I could go out and play by myself, no problem. But nowadays, I agree with her. Like, nobody's sending their kids out to play by themselves. Unless it's, like, in the front yard. Like, hey, don't leave the front yard. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But you're not, like, as a kid, I was going on the bike, like, 15, 20 minutes away to go hang out with friends. And we just rolling on the bike to the park, group of friends. And we're just rolling around everywhere. But now you can't do that, and it's sad.
Living abroad anymore, but I was from 2010 to 2011. I was living in Uppsala, Sweden, which is like about 45 minutes north of Stockholm. And this was before any major civil unrest was happening in the country or Trump or anything. This was like 10 years ago. I was out with friends and we started talking about how this Swedish girl happened to have cancer and how it's completely taken care of by their government. All of her health care, all of her bills are paid for.
That's beautiful.
The odds are that she will definitely get over cancer. So I go up to my two friends, one from Australia, one from Canada, and I say, oh my God, you guys, did you hear? She has cancer and the government's completely taking care of all of her bills. Isn't that amazing? Like, oh my God. And then my friends replied, Sabrin, you realize that you are the weird ones. Americans are the only ones that don't have that program. That was the first
crazy.
Of many moments where I was embarrassed to be an American.
Nah, that's legit sad, bro. Like, we the only country that's not gonna look out for the people. Like, we the only country that's gonna make sure profit come before people. And we might not be the only country in the world, but like out of one of the biggest countries in the world, like, know what I'm saying? We're one of the only ones that's like, F the people, let's get the money.
It's not current, but when I was studying in the UK, one day I really needed to see a doctor. But I didn't know how to access care. I didn't know what my insurance situation was like, so I just went to work. And eventually I was in so much pain that I burst into tears and my boss pulled me aside. And he was like, what's up? And I was like, I really need to see a doctor, but I don't know how to access care here. I don't know if I can afford it. And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Go down the street to the hospital. And I argued with him. And he was like, no, just trust me. Just go to the hospital. So I went and I was like clutching my like student ID in my hand, my passport. And I was like trying to remember how much I had in my bank account, like checking. And I got called back to the doctor. He was like, yep, this is what's wrong with you. Pick up your prescription on the way out. And I was like, I'm sorry, do you know how much it's going to be? And he said, I don't know, maybe 8 pounds. I was like, I'm sorry, 8? He was like, yeah, I don't think it's ever more than that. The receptionist kept laughing at me because I didn't feel comfortable leaving without paying somebody. And I kept asking if I owed anybody any money. So I don't live in Europe.
Hey, Pat, see, that's what's wrong with people, bro. Like, I know that American mindset make you think it costs more, but if they would have said 8 pounds, that's what I'm giving you, and I'm not asking questions about it. I'm giving you 8 pounds, and I'm getting the heck out of there before somebody change their mind. Like, stop asking questions. Stop trying to pay people money. Stop trying to give more. If they say 8 pounds, it's 8 pounds. No questions need to be asked. Get it 8 pounds and go.
But I was visiting relatives in the UK a couple of years ago, and my inhaler got destroyed. They convinced me to talk to the pharmacist first before seeing a doctor, in case I didn't need to. And the pharmacist said, yes, of course, we can refill this for you. No problem. It's a life-saving medication. And I'm like, great. And the pharmacist says, I did want to warn you, though. I'm very sorry. The price has gone up. And I'm just thinking the worst. And he says, yes, I'm very sorry. It's going to be £8.80. I said, £8.80. And he said, yeah, it's going to be £8.80. I'm really sorry. The prices just keep going up. And that is when I realized that the U.S. health insurance system is well and truly because that £8.80 prescription in the UK with really good health insurance costs me $50 per inhaler in the United States for a medication I need to literally live.
It's insane.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Y'all would have said, can I get like 15 of them? Is it possible for me to stock up on them? Can I get like 15 inhalers while I'm here?
Buckle up, kids. This one's gonna hurt. So I just moved to Italy with my boyfriend who is Italian.
Going through all of his old paperwork today, and he showed me a bill from the hospital when he cut his hand open pretty badly and had to get stitches. Oof. It cost €4.
Oh,
which
wow.
is the equivalent of $4.50.
I am back for round 2 on this one. So I just moved to Italy with my boyfriend who is Italian. We're watching a movie the other day where somebody is running away and they get shot. And I'm like, you know what? That's their fault. They didn't run in a zigzag. That's like the first thing they teach you, to run in a zigzag if somebody's pointing a gun at you.
That's what I would do.
He pauses the movie. And he looks at me and he goes, who taught you that? And I'm like, like teachers, adults, parents, like they teach you when you're young to run in a zigzag if somebody is pointing a gun at you. The sinking feeling I had when I realized that nobody ever had to teach him that when he was young. Because that's not a problem here.
So another thing...
I don't know where she grew up at in the U.S., but... Nobody taught me to run in a zigzag when somebody point a gun at you. Like, no adult, no teacher, no one has ever told me, hey, if somebody puts a gun at you, run in a zigzag. I can understand why people would have been taught that in the U.S., but that's something I feel like that's just common sense to me. And so, I mean, running a zigzag, god dang it, so they don't have time to line up a shot. You feel me? They got to keep, unless they just good at shooting, then you're F no matter. But if they're an amateur, you got a chance running in that zigzag. You got a fighting chance, god dang it. But, yeah, I legit was like, that just seems like common sense. But the fact that people have been taught that here is crazy to think about.
That I think about a lot is I have German friends, Dutch friends, Polish friends, and they all went on class trips to concentration camps when they were like 8 years old. Whereas in the US, I never learned anything about the Native Americans, like what really happened, until I took a Native American studies class in college. They are sitting there learning about, and they like use the word genocide. They tell them we committed genocide against the Jews here in Europe. And in the U.S., they're like, natives helped us move onto their land, and they just kind of moved away so we could settle. And they don't teach us anything about the Dawes Act. They don't teach us anything about the Stolen Sisters. They don't teach us anything about how Columbus wiped out an entire island in the Caribbean. And, like, they don't teach us about the smallpox blankets and the cholera and everything at all.
So I
swear to God, they don't he not lying. They don't teach you about none of that. They do not teach you about none of that. That was 100% facts.
I'm from Chicago, and I moved to Denmark when I was like 14, and I've been in public school ever since I moved here. And I remember this one time I was with my friends, and this was probably like the first 6 months of my first year at school here. And I was just like, we haven't had an intruder drill yet. Like, when are we going to have one of those? And they were just like, what is an intruder drill? What is that? And I had to like explain, like, it's like you're practicing in case someone comes in the school to come like shoot or something. And they're just like, we do not do that here. There is no threat of people
coming to kill us. And then I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to be like scared for my life at school in this country. Forgot about that.
That's so sad, bro. I don't know what to say. That's legit, just like, that's legit heartbreaking and saddening.
I was living abroad in the UK, and I had a job interview. And of course, growing up in the US, you're conditioned to dress so professional, be prepared, have your resume, and all these things. So I was like that really much. And I remember walking into the interview, and they were like, "Oh, well, you look really snazzy." And I was like, okay, that first of all, I've never heard that before at an interview. Then secondly, they didn't even ask me anything besides, "Hey, Kyle, would you like a cup of tea?" And I was like, okay. Never was asked that before ever in any other job interviews. We had a tea, and we literally like sat and talked about all sorts of stuff, personal life, their life, and we just had a laugh for like 45 minutes. And right afterwards, they're like, "You're perfect for the job. You fit great." And it was really crazy to me, and it was a really fun experience. I wish the US would just chill out sometimes a little bit more.
That is dope. That do sound dope. And I 100% agree. I wish too, man.
All right, so when I lived in France, I went to a
Love the shirt. I'm sorry.
cafe with my friend, and outside the cafe there were a whole bunch of baby strollers with human babies inside of the strollers.
That's
and
crazy.
I was super freaked out, and I asked my friend, why would anybody leave their babies outside unattended in their strollers? Aren't you afraid of something happening to them? And my friend looked at me and said, why would you assume that anything would happen to a baby? Who would be so horrible to do something to a baby? Yeah.
I think it is the American mindset in me, but even if I was in a different country and it was safe for me to leave my baby outside like that, I don't think I could do it, just because I think the American mindset like is instilled in me, like thinking of all the things that could possibly happen, all the dangers that could happen, even though I'd be in a country that's safe and it doesn't happen in that country still, like I don't think I could get over that mindset. I couldn't do it. So yeah, that is sad to think that we have to think that way here.
In Warsaw, Poland now, but I always stay in touch with what's happening in the US, and I happened to hear about that Las Vegas shooting when someone opened fire on a bunch of concert goers. And it was very tragic news, but that day I also went to the movies, so I was already in a kind of weird mental state. And when I left the movies, I got on the tram again in Warsaw, and I saw this guy kind of being sketchy and acting weird in the last seat. And I kept eyeing him the whole time, and he had his jacket open, and he was holding something inside. He was hiding it. And I thought, my first American thought was, it's a gun or a knife or some kind of weapon, and I need to move away as soon as possible. So I kept looking at him the whole ride, and then he takes it out, and it was a beer can. He was sipping it and hiding it during the tram ride. That's what happens in Poland. Not guns, not knives. And I started crying and laughing at the same time, because that's when I realized, wow, that's messed up.
I did this TikTok about a year ago, and I still stand by the fact that like we're significantly dumber in the States. School's a lot different here, but they learn so much more about life and things around us than we ever did. But another thing that I've noticed is people are so dependent in the States, especially like parents, I think, are more dependent and like feel the need to be in their child's lives more. Here, I'm sure they're great parents. I mean, 90% of the kids are super good, but like fourth graders are getting on the tram in the morning. Their parents are kissing them bye, saying peace out. Not the school bus, the tram. And you know what? At night, they get back on the tram and they figure out their way home. Like, the parents are not as like involved in the kids' lives, and they're so independent. But even like at home in the States, even me, who's almost 20 years old, like I'm still dependent on my mom. Okay, so
I feel like I feel that like that's dope for the kids to be more independent at a younger age, and that's definitely awesome. But I mean, if you're still dependent on your parents at 20, I feel like that's kind of an on you thing. But you know what I'm saying? If parents want to be dependable while you're 20, that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong in my book with being, I wouldn't say like totally dependent, like you can't survive without them, but leaning on them if you need some help and stuff. 20, you're still young, right? So I don't think it's wrong being dependent on your parents at the age of 20. Nothing wrong with that. But I mean, if you want to get out there and be independent, like ever since I grew up, like, Dad always raised me, like, when I was 18, I was moving out. Like, and of course he wouldn't let me stay longer, but, like, that's what my mindset. 18, graduate high school, go to college, I'm moving out. And that's what I did. Now, he helped me out with some stuff. And still, if I ever need him, he's there. I don't, like, usually need him for, like, to take care of me anyway. I mean, I love being around him. I need him to be alive, you feel me? But he doesn't need to help me at all anymore. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with being able to lean on your parents.
I moved to Sweden. And when I got here, I wasn't feeling too well, so I went to the doctor, and the doctor recommended that I get an EKG, an electrocardiogram. Instead of worrying about my health, my first reaction was, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can get one of those, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it. And this sweet little man, sweet, amazing doctor goes, did you not pay the, like, $20 when you got here? I ended up getting a regular EKG, a 24-hour long EKG, a blood test, and a freaking checkup for $20! Best part of this entire situation is that I am getting better, and I am getting the medical attention I need without going broke.
That is beautiful. I gotta agree. That is something that we just don't do good in the U.S. is make healthcare affordable. We just don't make healthcare affordable, and that's absolutely awful. And I absolutely hate that because there's so many people who don't have any insurance because insurance is expensive enough. And then there's so many people, right, who go bankrupt and just go into debt because they need medical care. But that's all we got. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. We out.